Members of Parliament have wrapped up voting for the National Assembly Speaker. The person will become Parliament's sixth National Speaker. Former Defence Minister Mapisa-Nqakula seems to be a chosen one, despite the opposition of some parties and movements. The DA's Natasha Mazzoni has also nominated MP Annelie Lotriet as National Assembly Speaker. Our reporter Lindsay Dentlinger is in Parliament and joins us now for an update. Lindsay, thanks for your time. So voting has wrapped up. What happens now?
Yes, Clement, it took around 90 minutes for everybody to cast their secret ballot. As you know, not all MPs could be present in the chamber to observe social distancing protocols, and so they were ushered in from the public gallery and also from a nearby venue just above the chamber, but pretty much on time and on target for what officials had set, guessing that it would take about 90 minutes. The EFF not present and all in the House, but we'll have a better idea of exactly how many MPs turned up today for what is the first full sitting of the National Assembly since the lockdown began last year, March, once the votes are tallied. And Clement, to your question, that is what's happening right now. The House has been adjourned for around an hour or so. The Judge President here of the Western Cape High Court, John Shlope, now keeping a close watch on those votes being counted in a room adjacent to the National Assembly. So that is what is happening right now, and those who've been present in the House since 11 o'clock this morning using the time to take a comfort break and maybe go get themselves some lunch. And just a short while ago we saw them all exiting from right behind me to take a little bit of a break until we find out exactly who's the sixth Speaker of the National Assembly.
Yeah, let's take a step back a little bit, Lindsay, and talk about the confidence that ANC members of Parliament had when they were nominating Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, despite the objections that have been clearly expressed out there. We saw the chief whip of the ANC speaking out. We saw Lindiwe Zulu also making a statement. Take us through what they said about the ANC's nomination.
Well, I think to be expected, Clement, if any of them have doubts as to whether Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula is the right lady for the job, they weren't going to express that openly. As you pointed out, Lindiwe Zulu standing up and saying this was a vote for women's empowerment. And so those hoping perhaps from the opposition benches that there might be some voting with their conscience are probably hoping for too much this afternoon. We know that the instruction came from Luthuli House that she be the nominee for the ANC, and we know that the party's keeping a strict three-line whip here in the House to ensure that everybody votes for her. She herself cast her ballot. We also saw Thandi Modise, her predecessor, also in the House casting the ballot, and so it's probably to be expected that no one will be stepping out of line, and whether if they have any reservations as to her fitness for this job, they weren't going to openly express that today. And a fairly good support she got in the House when she arrived earlier before the session started. Her colleagues and comrades chatting to her, taking selfies. And when her name was called up to cast her ballot, she also got some support, some rounding applause from the benches. So, Clement, very doubtful that anybody would openly express, from her party at least, if they felt that she was not the person for this job this afternoon.
Yeah, so how long can we expect the counting to take? You said earlier that they were bang on the money in terms of how long the voting was going to take. So how long can we wait until we can hear Judge Shlope announcing the sixth Speaker of Parliament? And what's going to unfold? Is she going to be given an opportunity to say a word or two?
She will most certainly be given that opportunity, Clement. The Judge President not putting an exact time on how long the House would be adjourned. They will ring the bells for at least 5 minutes to signal to MPs that the House is about to resume business again, so that those around the precinct will know to return to the chamber. But we are expecting around about an hour that it could take. Of course, it could take a little bit longer if the Judge President is not satisfied that the counting process has unfolded the way it should, or perhaps just to check that the votes have been tallied correctly. But we expect around an hour, so maybe in an hour from now, Clement, we will know for sure who the next Speaker of the National Assembly will be.
All right, Lindsay Dentlinger, thank you so much for that update. We'll chat again later on. I'm sure when we chat again, we'll have an indication as to who the 6th Speaker of Parliament will be. Will it be Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, who is a nominee for the ANC, or Annelie Lotriet, who has been nominated by the Democratic Alliance?